Hi, welcome back to my channel. I want to ask you a question today that I want you to really think about. Who is Jesus? Or actually, what is Jesus like to you? How is he portrayed? When you think about him in your mind, what comes across? What do you envision? Are you envisioning that picture of Jesus, the most popular, where the background is brown and he's got his long brown hair and he's kind of just looking really morose and maybe a little melancholic, a little stern, maybe, you feel like he's looking down on you and you've done something wrong and he's disappointed. I imagine there are quite a few of you out there that might think that is how Jesus is, that that's his personality and his character. Well, I got something to say. It's not. And I did a little bit of studying today, came across something that really enlightened me. Not that I thought he was just this sour, morose, man that lived and is in heaven now. And, it's not like I thought that of him, but I, definitely thought he was more serious than kind of what I came across today. It was really interesting. So I want to share it with you. I've got some cue cards here that I might be checking out periodically just because like I said, I just found this out this morning, and so it's not like it's ingrained in my head, but it's something I want to hang on to. Uh, do you see him? Is it hard picturing him cracking jokes? Is it hard picturing him playing with kids and laughing with his friends and actually have a sense of humor? Can you picture him getting indigestion and, taking a walk and getting sweaty and stinky and, everything that happens with us in our daily life? Can you picture that? Well, it did happen. He was human. He was definitely God, but he was also very human. He had so many of the same emotions and feelings and perceptions that we have. He had a favorite food and had things that he liked better than others, and even had better friends. Some of his friends were closer to him than others. He was totally human. So let's talk about the part of him that is not what is currently or sometimes illustrated in pictures, this sad, melancholic Jesus that we have seen before. Can you actually see him with joy? Can you actually see that he could be a fun man and was a fun man? Now, Jesus was not a handsome man, as many of you might have heard. I've heard that. The pictures that you see of him, he's pretty handsome. I mean, there's some where he's pretty nice looking, but for the most part, it's been told that he was not handsome. So what drew people to him? It was more of his attitude. People with these great attitudes and personalities attract people regardless of how they look. So that says something about him. He was surrounded by people for whatever reason. It it could be his personality. It could be his attitude. Uh, his words. He had a sense of humor, and I'll go over that in a little bit. And then, of course, his actions. Um, Now, Jesus was invited to parties and dinners and whatever. And this is what I'm talking about: how people were attracted to him, even though he might have been unattractive. Well, dull peeps don't get invited to parties. That's the way it is. If you're dull and boring, you do not get invited. And so, but he was. So this must tell us that he wasn't as dull and boring as he's illustrated, as we might think. Let me talk about something else here. He loved kids, and kids loved him. He was constantly surrounded by kids. Kids were wanting to sit on his lap and play with him. And you probably know that kids have a great judge. They can judge character, intuitively. They know kind of who to stay away from and who's going to accept them. And well, there were kids all around Jesus all the time. He was playing with them. So think back to your childhood. Was there someone in your life, maybe an uncle or a grandpa, a cousin, an older cousin, that might have just been fun and just got down on the ground and roughhoused and played with you and made it really fun, just where you enjoyed being with this person, this man, or it could be female, just somebody who really got down and played with you? Well, this is probably how Jesus was. Why else would kids be so attracted to him? He had to have gotten down and just played with them. Can you just picture that? Him throwing them in the air and roughhousing and tickling them and, doing the little motorboat on their stomach. And, seriously, does that not make you laugh? It makes me smile so much just thinking about it. There you go. That's another, chalk it up for the joy that Jesus has. Just look at how he was, his actions with kids. He was funny. He had a sense of humor. In Jewish culture, of course, every culture has their sense of humor. We do in America. We have our words, our slang, our whatever that everyone kind of gets. Well, in the Jewish culture, he talked about a lot of parables, and the culture there understood it and got it. Well, think about the one where he talks about pulling the log out of the neighbor's eye. Before you go and pull the speck out of your neighbor's eye, better pull the log out of your own eye first. How funny is that? Don't take that as something serious. Like, he could have worded it differently in a little more of a different tone than that, but he actually wanted something funny to illustrate what he was trying to get across. And I think that's kind of funny, talking about pulling a log out of your own eye. Seriously? Cool. Is that not cool? Does that not just also give you an idea, a picture into who he is and kind of his sense of humor? It's funny. I like it. It's making me happy today. I'm actually feeling full of joy just thinking about Jesus's joy. Let's see. Jesus did come to earth. His sole purpose was to come to earth to take away our sorrows and hurts and sin and all. But he also came to spread joy and love and kindness to people, which he did. He was a fun man. He loved kids. He played with kids. He laughed with his disciples. He cracked jokes. He had a sense of humor. So does this make it easier to identify with him? Do you feel better maybe going to him now, thinking that is how he is, that he's a normal person? He was a normal human. Although he did know pain and rejection, as we all do. We've all felt the rejection, the pain, the abandonment, the sorrow, the pain, the sickness. He did too, on a bigger scale even. But yet he still managed to be in the moment, be in life. And in the moment and in the life, he chose joy and love and kindness. And yes, although he cried and had his tears, that's why he's human, so that we could identify. But we don't have to be a person that is full of sorrow and we're not joyful every day because of our circumstances, because Jesus wasn't. Yes, like I said, he did cry, he did have sorrow, but he was also in the moment and spread the love, the kindness, the joy, had the joy in his heart to share with others, despite all of the brokenness that this world had at the time and currently has now. So his example gives me permission today, for this moment, to live in joy. And believe me, talking about this is bringing me tremendous joy right now. It's just making me so happy. I hope it's doing the same for you too. So ask God today to make you a woman of joy instead of sorrow. Get out of your pit. Come out. Think about Jesus. Think of what he was like. Let's emulate him today. Let's be joyful and happy and be in the moment. Forget about the past. Strain toward the future. Just what Paul says in Romans, I believe, or Corinthians, one of those, maybe Romans. Forget about the past. Be in the moment. Strain toward the future and live a life of joy. Be a woman of joy, not of sorrow. I'll talk to you again. Thanks.